collaboration platform. It will also be the medium in which we will be conducting the entire UNISA esports program. So it's very important that you do understand how teams work and you're comfortable in that environment, as it will be critical to your success within the program itself. So I just want to confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
So before I jump in, I just want to introduce my colleague that's also going to be assisting us, Vivian Ladner. She'll be watching all the chat sections for any questions. So if you want to stop at any point and ask a question, please post it in there. So don't feel afraid of asking. The more you get to know the platform, the best. So on my screen, we've currently got what would just be your login onto Microsoft using your UNISA account that's been given to you. I just want to paste this link into the chat so that it's quick and easy for you to find. So that'll be the link that you'll use to access all of your various Microsoft applications that are made available through your UNISA account. So in this case, I have my account already linked up, but if it's your first time, we're going to use another account, and it's just going to ask you to put in your details. So this would be the email address that's been given to you by UNISA. And we're just going to hit enter. And now we're going to be asked to put in our password. It's important to note that everyone's accounts within the program requires multi-factor authentication, and this step that we can see on the screen is a primary example of that. So when you're trying to access your account to log in from a new device or a new browser, in this case, I'm doing it in an in-private browser. So every time it will ask me for a multi-factor authentication. There are a couple ways that you can set this up. You can either have it send a code through to your cell phone number that you put in, or alternatively, there is the Google Authenticator app, which you can also link up to it. But it will ask you for those steps when you log in the first time. So in this case, I'm just going to ask it to send me a text message with my code for it. So let's have a look, see. They verify, and then we can just say stay signed in. And that will mean that I don't have to continuously go through that multi-factor authentication process. And once you've logged in, this will be your primary landing page to all your Office tools. You'll have an overview on any documents that's been shared with you or items that you have accessed. So this is very much a quick access point across all of the different files and communications that your account has received. But where we're going to be focusing on today is on the left-hand side. You can see the Teams icon. So I'm just going to select it, and it will actually open it up for us in a new tab. And this is quite convenient because if you do want to go back and you want to access, for example, Word or Excel, you don't have to log in or create a separate tab for you. It helps that process already. So it's just going to quickly go through its authentication to log me into Microsoft Teams. So we're just going to allow it the second to do so. Again, while it's loading, Microsoft Teams is vital within the esports program because it will be where we'll be sharing all of the different world challenges as well as communication on upcoming training sessions or assessment forms that just need to be filled out. But we'll dive into each one of those whilst we navigate through Teams. So the first time you log in, it will ask you if you want to get the Windows app. Well, it very much depends on what device you're on. You can also download the Microsoft Teams app on your mobile. So whatever if you're using an iPhone or an Android device, you can just go to the relevant app store and just search Microsoft Teams and download it, and you'd be able to log in using your UNISA account again. And all of the features that we'll see during our demo through Teams now is available on the app as well. So for now, I just want to show first the browser and the difference that it looks in terms of the actual application. So I'm just going to say use the web app instead. You can always, if you don't have it installed on your device that you've logged into, you can say get the app. It does change whether you're on, for example, a Mac device or an Apple device or a Windows laptop or desktop. It does change, so you can just select the get the Windows app and it will download it for you, and you can just go through its normal installation process. But for now, we're just going to say use the web app instead. And the moment I land up in my Teams, we have a couple of areas to have a look out for. Let's start on the left-hand side. At the top left, you'll see that we have a collection of dots in the shape of a square. If we had to select that, it would open up a menu where we can access a number of our other applications available to us, such as your OneDrive, where you've got storage and some of your more production-orientated tools. So I'm just going to.
So the ellipsis in the top, sorry, the ellipsis in the top on the left, on the top left-hand side, I call it a waffle. And everything else that we're going to show you on top of it is all the ice cream and the cherry and all the other good things.
Yes, that is actually the perfect way to put it. Thank you very much for that. So to get away from your waffle menu, you can select anywhere on the screen, or you can just press the waffle button again and it will disappear. Now, under our waffle button, I am going to keep referring to it as that now because it's perfect for it. On the left-hand side, we'll see your general menu for Teams, and these are all of your different areas that you'll be able to access. So the first one we have is our activity section. So if I select activity, what this does is it shows me any notifications that would be important to me, such as someone mentioning me directly or responding to a message that I have sent. So this really helps you keep up to date with what is happening in your Teams environment. There's nothing more really that you can do with this. However, you can also filter it. So you'll see here at the top, we've got a feed and a drop-down icon. We can select it and we can choose if we want to do it on feed or my activity. So this really limits it to only showing you your relevant stuff if you select my activity. And you'll see it will only be what I have sent out. But I'm going to select my feed again. What you can also do is we'll see that we've got a little filter option on this menu, that if I select it, I can type in a filter, so I can search for a specific account, I can search for specific terms or anything that Teams can use to try and find what I'm busy looking for. Also, you'll see that you've actually got an ellipsis just next to your filter search, that if I select it, I can choose to narrow down what I've seen. So the first one is unread. So it's any activity that's happened that I haven't had a look at or my account hasn't seen. I can select that and it will only show me those activities. We also have @mentions. So in Teams, very similar to how you can do it, for example, in WhatsApp or an email account, you can @mention someone and it really brings out a fantastic notice for them. So you can do it to see only where you've been mentioned, or replies where someone's replied to a message that you've posted or a reaction to a message that you've posted. You can also have a look at missed calls, voicemails as other apps. So that's the activity section. If we move down below that one step, we've got our chat feature. So on our chat feature, we can see any chats that we've had over our history. You can create a new chat. So on the left-hand side, we can see that we've got again a filter option where you can again filter it just like what you would in your activity. But just next to that is a little pen in a square icon that if I had to select it, I can actually search for someone. So if I wanted to send Vivian, for example, a message, I can search Ladner and it should come up for me. And once I've got everyone in here, you can have this either as a one-to-one chat or a group chat. So I could add in a number of additional people. So for example, if we wanted to add in Richard, we could do that as well. And then I can just select onto my type a new message area. And here I can just send a message. So here I can say, hi, everyone, and send it through. And just like that, I've created a new group chat between myself, Vivian, and Richard. And we can see that it said I've added people to my chat. Now, what's important is in each chat, you can also have files. So you can share documents individually with one another. So if I had to jump into the file section of this chat, I would be able to see any documents that we as a group or just between me and the person that we can share files here. Now, your chat section isn't limited only to private chats or group chats. It also includes any chats for Teams meetings that you've had. So for example, today's Teams meeting is already the one that we are currently in. I can already see sitting in my chat section. So if we had to end this call, I could always come back to my chat and see what was mentioned in here, have a look at any links, any files sent through, and in certain circumstances, you can also carry on the discussion after a meeting has ended, which is very important for you. What you'll also see is if you've had a meeting itself and it's been recorded, the recording will be made available in the chat for you. So if you've missed a Teams call, or if you've had to leave a little bit earlier and you want to come back and watch the recording, you simply go to the chat section and you find the chat relevant for your meeting, and you'll be able to see it. So if I, for example, go to one of our earlier sections, and we can actually go all the way. Nope, not this one, this one. And we go up. I just want to show you what it would look like. Here is this recording now. It's hiding from me. There we go. You can see now this meeting happened on the 23rd. So it's 3 days ago, but I can still come in and watch this recording of the meeting to double check if I've missed anything. So your chat section is extremely useful for you continuously with communicating, collaborating with individuals, but also following up and referencing back to previous meetings. What you'll also see is by default, you have a pinned chat at the top. So this pin chat is with you. So this is an area where you can come and make notes for yourself. And this would be very good for you, not just within your own studying career, but specifically within the program with making notes on certain pieces of information that you've picked up that might help you in a challenge coming forward. So here you can make any notes and you'd be sending a message between yourself. You can also upload files as well that you can store in here. So
one of the things that I use that tab for is if I find an article on LinkedIn or a news article or whatever, I actually send it to myself inside of Teams so that I have access to it to read it when I have the time to do that. So for me, I pop all those kind of things in there as well.
And this is a very useful way, especially when you're busy doing research for a specific course or a specific project that you need to conduct. You can actually use this as your resource repository at the end of the day. So it really becomes useful for you on a day-to-day and a productivity aspect. So that's our chat features. You can also close a chat. So if you really have too many and you don't want them all, you can always hover over a chat and you've got your ellipsis option, and you can choose to hide it or mute it. You can also pin it, which means it stays at the top for you, or you can mark it as unread. So you can always reopen hidden chats, which is quite nice as well, through the filter option. So if you do want to clear this up, you do have options for it. It doesn't just become a long unmanaged list of chats and communication. Now, if we carry on down our left-hand menu, we've got our Teams option. So I'm just going to select Teams. And here is a number of different tiles presented to us. This is the default view of your Teams. You can change this, and I'll jump into that shortly. But any team that you are added to will show up here. In this case, I've got access to all of the relevant esports teams. You would be added to your specific region's team. Now, before we jump into a specific team and look at the layout of that, I do want to just draw your attention to the top right-hand side. We've got a filter option. So again, I can do classes or other. So teams do have different formats, which I will show you now. However, all of the teams that you will be added to are in the form of classes so that we can get access to some additional features. Now, if we hit our settings options, the little right cog, we can choose manage teams, and we can also switch view. Now, manage teams is only if you are an owner of a team. So unless you have been placed for one, this option really becomes redundant for you. However, switch view is important because some people work differently than others. So if I select switch view, I can come in and I can change my theme. So if you are someone that struggles visually, you can choose a high contrast theme, and you can see it immediately makes changes and it makes your text stand out significantly more, as well as your images. You can also choose a dark theme or your default light theme. So I'm going to keep it on my default light theme. You've also got chat density, which is comfy or compact. I generally recommend keeping it on the comfy because the moment you get into compact, you really start having the possibility of missing certain pieces of communication. Then the part that really impacts how you view your teams is whether you want it in a grid view or a list view. So if I select list view, we can actually see that it's changed our options in the back. So let me just close this quickly and we can come back and change it to grid view Nana. What your list view does is instead of having tiles open for you to select, it lists all of your teams in a menu on the left-hand side. So all of those tiles that we saw in a grid view earlier are now sitting here. And I can jump into a specific team from here. I can also expand the team from here. So I'm going to just jump back to the grid view. The grid view is my general recommendation on how you view your profile or your teams. The only time a list view really becomes useful is if you are part of a number of different teams, and we're talking into the 20s. So otherwise, grid view really works very well with being able to look at a broad stroke what teams you are at. Now, what's also important is if we have it on a grid view, if something happens in a team, we'll see that the name of the team actually becomes bold. So it actually gives you an indication that there's some form of communication happening in that team. Now, I'm going to select a team. So we're going to just go into the Gauteng Esports team. And this is what your regional team will look like, the one that you will be using within the program itself. So in here, we have a couple of important things to run through. On the left-hand side, we've got a menu on where we can jump into different areas of our teams. You can always jump back to all of your teams by the button at the top. You'll also see that there are a couple of options that are available solely to class teams: class notebook, assignments, grades, reflect, and insights. But for you, you do not need to worry about any of these for now. They won't be applicable within the esports program. Where you really do want to pay attention to is your channels. So channels are very important because in a team, and each channel can deal with a different topic. So in the case of the esports program, we've got a general channel. So this channel, we can actually see any communication that's happened in our big plane on the right-hand side, any conversations that's going on.
Can I just give a practical example of a team that has been created and the channels? If you think of the team that's been created as your DSTV decoder, your black box, and then you have your different channel 102, 103, 104 inside there. That's exactly what we're trying to achieve here. You have the main box, the main team, and inside there, we can do all these different things or watch all these different things happening.
Thank you very much, Fabian. That is a very good way. My typical other analogy, however, I think the DSTV one is best, is to think of it very much as a flip file or portfolio where your team is your portfolio and each of your channels are categories that sit under it. And you obviously a category has a bunch of information in it that you can come and read and reference to. But I do think the DSTV provides a little bit more of a practical aspect to it. So our general channel, if I select it, I can go and read through any conversations that's happened, any announcements that's been sent out. Now, the general channel within the esports program is specifically used for sending out general announcements on what is happening. Now, what is important within the general channel, as well as in any channel, is what sits here at the top. You can see we've got a bunch of text items here and options for us. These are called tabs. So a channel can have a number of different tabs, and essentially what a tab is it's a extra application or a feature that's in there. So our first tab that we have is our posts tab. So that's where any messages or communication is sent through. So here you would come and read whoever has posted what, or if people have responded to specific messages. Now, if we go to our files tab, we will be able to see any communication or files that have been uploaded and shared. So anything that is shared within your channel is automatically added to your documents under your files. So in this case, we've just kept it a little bit more structured and we've added them into files. So very much how you would interact with a file and a document on your normal computer or the device. Now at the top as well, we've got a couple of other applications for us. The first one, if we select it, is a form. So we can allow for forms to be held all in one space. So you can come in here, and if you haven't completed your skills assessment, please do that. It is compulsory and it needs to be completed by midnight Monday. So you can come into your team, you can go into your general channel and actually select the participant skill assessment, and you can come fill in your form directly inside your team. So you don't have to go to a separate application, and you can do your submission from here. You'll also see tabs for our Flipgrid. Now I'm not going to dive into Flipgrid. Communication has been sent out on it as well, so I don't want to dive away from Teams, but you can access your Flipgrid as a tab inside Teams, so you don't have to leave Teams as your main application. We also have the option to upload a full document as a tab, so it stays up and relevant the whole time. So in our case, we have the participant welcome doc that gives a very clear outline on what the program entails, that is permanently up as a tab in our general channel, and you can come through and read and keep up to date with what is happening in the program. And if you do have extended tabs that don't fit in here, you'll see that there's a one more option, or it could change to 2 or 3 depending how many tabs you add to your team. But if we had to select the one more, it would just give us a drop down and I can select that tab. And now if I had to select it, all it will do is move it up for us and shift some of our other tabs around. So do use the 2 more so that you don't lose track of any tabs that are made available to you. So I'm just going to go back to our posts. Now, if you want to reply to someone or interact with a message, we can see in this case, it's a message that I posted this morning regarding our knowledge check and reflection activities for the program. Now, if you had a question that you wanted to post to this, you can just hit the reply option. You'll see it sits here at the bottom. And if I had to hit reply, I can come in here and type any response, and it will actually notify me as the message owner that you have responded to me. So it keeps me in the loop so that I can come back and communicate with you. What you can also do, and this is one of the real powers of Teams and keeping people up to date, is if I wanted to bring Vivian into this conversation and just make her see this as being important and to draw her attention to it, all I'm going to do is in the text box, I'm going to select @ and you'll see it'll automatically give me a couple of options. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to search Vivian, and you'll see it should update it for us. And I've got a suggestion that I can select. The moment I select it, it will actually fill out her name for me. And if I had to send this message and say, please note, and hit send, she'll get a notification on her side that she has been mentioned in a chat, and her activity will all of a sudden come up. And she would be able to come and hit a reply to me. She could mention me on here as well. And this is how we can keep, there we go, how we can keep communication up and running. Now, another thing that you can do in Teams is your reactions. So sometimes instead of having to send through a full response to someone that's in there, and you just want to show them that you have noticed the post, you can react to it. So we can just hover over a message and you'll see that these little pop-up emojis come up, and I can give a thumbs up, I can heart it, you've got a laugh, surprised faced, a worry and sad, as well as an angry. But you can also hit the ellipsis and add additional options to it. Now, if I just want to like Vivian's message, I'm just going to hit the like option, and you can see that it's given it there. Now, Vivian will also get a notification that it's been liked. So what we would like to request for all participants in the esports program, that is for any notices or communication that we've sent out, even if you don't want to respond to it, do acknowledge the post, and that's as simple as hovering over it and selecting an emoji. Even a thumbs up lets us know that you've received it, and we don't have to worry about you missing out on communication. Now, let's say, for example, we want to create our own post. We don't want to reply to someone or keep the contact in there. We want to create our own discussion in this channel. I've got a new
Sorry,
conversation.
Zuan, can I just quickly make mention? If you're doing it on your mobile device, they are all there as well. The ellipsis is there. You click on the ellipsis, you can go and add your emojis in. The chat button is there. All of it is. I'm actually sitting on my iPhone at the moment at home. So everything I'm doing is via my mobile device. So you can do it from a PC, obviously, but you can do it from a mobile device as well.
Thank you very much, Vivian. So yeah, everything that you see us going through in today's session is available in the mobile device. And that's why the mobile device or application is fantastic, because while you're on the go, you can keep up to date with information. So if a new challenge is released on a Monday, and you might not be at your computer and ready to do something, you might be at class or out at work, you can get a notification and you know, okay, it's there. When I have a chance, I can start interacting with it. So it is really important, and you can keep your conversations and collaboration going away from a fixed device.
Can I maybe just have a thumbs up? Has anybody installed Microsoft Teams onto your mobile devices yet?
Yes.
Thank you, Prince. Thumbs up.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Awesome. So fantastic. Thank you very much. And then also, have you downloaded Minecraft Education Edition to your mobile device yet as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Woo, lots of thumbs up. Look at those. Fantastic team. Well done.
And I'm struggling a little bit. I'm trying to download on my PC as well, but I don't know why it doesn't go through. I have installed the VPN to see if perhaps it's something that can also help with this download. And yeah, it is
Flora, where are
progressing.
you based?
Oh, I'm based in Luanda, Angola. Sorry.
Angola. Okay. So if you do get stuck and you need some help, you can just reach out to Zuan and myself on Teams, and then we can do a call with you and just help you with the download. Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure, ma'am.
And that is something that is important. We are here for support continuously through the program. You will actually see that one of the channels that we have in our teams is a support channel. So if you have any issues, being it outside of Minecraft, a application that might be giving you some difficulty, please do let us know and we can help. It's also, the support line's not just limited to a technical issue. If you have any questions or concerns about trying to answer something correctly or navigate a certain place, you're also more than welcome to ask there. We'll set up sessions and we'll go through and guide you through it as well. So please do use your support channel for that. Or alternatively, you're also welcome to send us a private message through your chat feature. So if we want to create our own conversation in a channel or bring something up, we can see a new conversation option at the bottom. Again, this is available on your mobile device. There is a new conversation button there as well. So I'm going to select new conversation. And now what you'll see is quite interesting is under our text box where we can start typing, we've got a couple of options available to us. So I'm just going to pinpoint some of the important ones that you'd be able to use. The first one is your format option. So if I want to send a quick message and it's a one sentence, I generally don't need to use the format option. I can just come and type it in. However, the moment I select format, we can see all of a sudden my block changes, and it allows me to use some of my bold features. I can italicize, I can change the size of my text, I can add bullet points. So this is very much the features that you would have in a normal typesetting environment available to you in Teams and in your message. So from here, I can either add a subject and continue my conversation. So do remember there is a difference between a subject and your actual conversation itself. So your subject should just be the title of your message if you are using the format option, and then you can actually in the section below that start typing out what your conversation is. What you'll also see is at the top, you've got an option for a new conversation. So you can choose between making a conversation and an announcement. Generally, your interactions within the program will stay as a conversation. So do keep it like that. Announcements are more for when you are the owner of a team and you're trying to get all of your members to see a specific communication. You can also choose how people can respond. So in this case, leaving everyone to respond helps with communication collaboration. So you might ask us a question, but one of your other team members might have had the same issue and they can answer it a lot quicker than what we can. So do leave your everyone can reply option open. Post in multiple channels, again, is only relevant if you are managing multiple teams. So you would ignore that as an option. And then you've got your normal typesetting options below that. Now, just to bring your attention back to the bottom menu that we have, we can attach a file. So it's our little clip icon. So if I select it, it will open up, a pop-up for me, and I can do recent. So it allows me to have a look at any of the documents that I've used recently within my UNISA account. I can actually go and look through any teams that I'm a part of or channels. So if I know that, for example, there is a world challenge or the Minecraft world is available under my challenges channel, I can browse my team. I can select this, go into my channel and actually find it. So here, for example, I can go into my general channel. I can look at my communications. I can select any one of these and share them as a link or upload them as a copy. Now, if you are sharing documents within Teams, general recommendation and rule of thumb is to share links instead of uploading copies of a document. So in this case, if you are sharing from inside Teams or OneDrive, my recommendation is always to share a link. So you only have one real document at the end of the day, one copy of it. Now, we can also, going back to our clip option, I can select OneDrive, which opens up a very similar pop-up as Teams, and I can go search for any documents there. Or alternatively, I can upload from my computer. So if I select this option, all it's going to do is it's going to bring up my Microsoft Windows open for me, and I can go and select a document and I can open it. And if I say open, you'll see that it will ask me where I want to upload it. So if I don't want to put it in any one of these folders, I can just hit upload and it will put it in the general file section. So I'm just going to not upload this because it's not a document that I actually want up here causing confusion with our participants. So I'm just going to close that off. You also have an option for emojis. So this works very similar to any of your other communication applications. You can select your emoji, add them in. There are a host of them. You can actually search for certain ones. You also have options for GIFs all the way through to stickers. Again, very similar to any of your other communication platforms that you would be used to, such as WhatsApp. We've got stream options, praise options. So these all become very much a management point of view that's coming in there. So the bulk or the main features that you will be using is your format, attach icon, as well as your emojis, GIFs, and stickers that are in here. Now, let's say I've typed an entire message out and I actually didn't want to post it. You can see at the top right, I've got a little recycle bin option, and I can actually delete it. And the main reason why there's a recycle bin, and that is because if I start a conversation here, and I just say hi all, it technically keeps this open as a draft for me. Because if I leave this team now, so I'm just going to go to my private chat to show you this. I'm going to go to my private chat. And now if I go back to that team, you can see my message is still here, so it stores it for me. So do remember to hit delete, otherwise this will sit here for you for quite some time before it goes away. And you'll see it says, do you want to discard it? And we'll say discard. Now, All the other channels available to you in your teams are very similarly structured. They work the exact same way. Channels and their tabs in there, and you can interact with your posts as well as create new conversations. So that is our teams that you have options to. Now you'll see that there is an assignments section available to you. We will not be using this within the program at the moment, so you don't have to worry about assignments, but this is essentially if the owner of a team sent you an assignment, it would come through here and you can see the details of it, the due date, as well as what you need to submit. But we are going to ignore this for now because it's not applicable for you at the moment. Now, if we go to the calendar section, this is really where it's also going to become important for you to keep an eye out on. In our calendar section, it looks very similar to your Outlook calendar as well, is we've got our day row columns running down, as well as time as columns or rows running horizontal. At the top, we can choose to go to today. So if I select today, it will show me at least the date where we are at, and you can see at the top, my Friday column is highlighted a little bit more, drawing my attention to this section. Now, I can also, with these arrows, move between my different weeks. And again, if I just want to come right back to where I am now, I can just say today, and it brings me back. So it really helps with your navigation. You also have the option to hit the drop down and go to a specific time period as well, and jump further ahead on your calendar or backtrack as well. Now on the right hand side, you'll see that you've got an option which says work week. So this just depends on how you want to be able to view your calendar. Now, if I hit the drop down, I've got 3 options available to me. I can choose between a day view. So if we select our day view, it really just enlarges that column and shows me everything that I have running only for today. I can select on the drop down again. I've got my work week, so that only shows Monday through to Friday. But if I want to see my entire week, I can select that, and then we can see I've got Sunday and Saturday included in my week calendar overview. Now, right at the top, we do have a couple of options. We've got join with an ID. So if someone does send you a Teams meeting ID, you can simply click join with an ID, and you can type your ID in as well as the meeting password, and then just hit join meeting and it will open up the call for you. You also have an option to meet now. So meet now is if you don't have something scheduled, but you still want it to be a meeting and not a normal call, you can use meet now. And I can type in the name of my meeting, and I can share a link, and that I can pass on to anyone to join. Or alternatively, we've got options to create new meetings. So if I hit on my new meeting option, it opens up a section where I can go and fill in all of my information that's in here. Now, your meetings, new meetings, first off, we've got a couple of options at the top. These really just deal with more how you want to manage it. So you can choose how you want to show your account, because do remember, you can choose how you are seen live, whether you're free, tentative, busy, out of office. You can choose how you want other people to see your account while you're in this meeting. You can also choose to color coordinate it. So color coordination is very important when you've got a host of meetings and schedules up. You can actually color coordinate, and it shows the importance and category of it for you. You can change your time zone. You can choose response options. So your response options are 2 request responses. So if I want the person that I have invited to let me know if they're going to join, I will make sure that my request responses is on. Allow forwarding allows for anyone that I send a meeting request to forward that meeting on to someone else. Now, that is very important. If you are scheduling a meeting and you only want it between you and, for example, your lecturer or another group member for a project or coursework that you need to do, and you don't want anyone else to have access to it besides the people you have invited, you want to make sure that you untick this option So you can just click on it and you can see the tick has disappeared. Now, if you are happy with them adding in someone that they think needs to be in on it, you can always keep that option ticked. Then we've got require registration. This is a more advanced feature within Teams, so we are not going to focus on that now. It also has no use within our program. Then in terms of the information for your meeting, we can put in a title. So we are just going to say this is a Teams meeting, and I can add in my required attendees. So in this case, I want Vivian to be in on it. And then I've got an optional button on the right-hand side of this. So what that means is it's someone that doesn't need to be in the meeting. They don't particularly have to give me a response, but they have the option to join in on it. So in this case, if I wanted Richard to have the option that if he had time available to join in, and I can already see that on his title, it says that he's busy during the time period that my team has been scheduled. And I can see that Vivian is free. So that is important, is to always be able to see when your participants or people you're inviting to your meeting are available. Now, just under your members options, we've got date options. So you can choose when you want the meeting to run. So we can choose for it to be, for example, Monday, and I want to change it to a morning session. Now we can actually see that we've got suggested times put out here for us. Now, these are important because these are automated and it takes into account all of the different staff or team members that you've invited. So yeah, I can say, you know what, let's do it for 4:30 to 5 p.m. And I've got everyone free and available. And it's actually gone and made that date change for me as well. So I can also choose to make my meeting all day. We're going to keep it so that it sits for 30 minutes. You can also choose to have your meeting recurring. So if you want to have a touch base session with your group that you need to do a coursework or a module on, you can have it set for every weekday, Monday to Friday. You can choose to have it daily, weekly, and you can choose the days that are in there. So if I had to say weekly, I can come and choose when I want the first meeting to start. So let's say 29th, and I want it to run every Monday. Now, you don't have to select a end date. So if it's just a meeting you want to have run endlessly, you can leave it like that, or I can select a end date. So let's say I only want this to run for 3 weeks. I can select my date and hit save. And we can see that it tells me it occurs every Monday until this date. Now, you also have an option to add it to a channel. So this is again, a slightly more advanced feature specifically from a management point of view, but you can schedule a Teams call in a channel so that whoever is in that team can join it. We also have options to add a location. Most of the time, if you're just having an online Teams call, you can ignore your location. It doesn't need to be in there. And then we've got an option to give some information on what this meeting is for. And again, we've got our normal typesetting options at the top where we can change fonts, boldness, italicize, colors, the whole host of them. Now, the last part that I want to show when creating your meeting is this option right at the top called Scheduling Assistant. And this is a fantastic tool to see when other people are available. So here I can see that for Monday the 29th, when I tried scheduling this meeting, I can see that it's clear on everyone's calendar because I can see Vivian's calendar and she's got nothing booked. Whereas Richard has 4 meeting sessions or blocked out sessions in his calendar. So if I had to drag this option anywhere here, we can see that Richard automatically becomes unavailable because I'm colliding with something that he's already had planned. So moving it back to my time means that he's available for me. So it really just helps keep into consideration those that you are inviting to your meetings. Now, if I had to go and just hit send, it would post this out as a normal meeting. Now, I'm not going to hit send because I don't want to block out people's calendar dates. So I'm just going to hit close and hit close and discard. Now, let's say, for example, I had scheduled that meeting. All of your meetings and the way that you can edit it look exactly the same. So let's take today's or a meeting session next week, for example. So if I select the meeting, I can click on it once and I can either join the meeting, I can edit it. I can see that this is a series or an occurrence. So it depends if you've got it only as a single meeting or something that's happening often. You will have this drop down and you can choose whether you want to just make changes to the one single instance of the meeting, or if you want to change your entire series itself. You can also copy a link to this meeting that you can share with someone so that they can join in, or you can chat with participants. So again, if I hit chat with participants, it will open it up for me in my private chat feature where I can start chatting with people that are in that meeting, the same as what we can do with the current one. But if I had to double click on it, it would take me in and I can come in and change all of the information that I had set up in the beginning. I can change my title, I can change my participants, I can change the dates and when it happens, all the way through to the information that I provide to them. So you can always come back and edit your meeting itself. So I'm not going to jump into all of these options because these are your more advanced Teams meeting options. So I'm just going to close that for now here. So do keep an eye out on your Teams calendar because all of the events that will be running, the coaching sessions and Teams meetings that we'll be having will be saved to your Teams. Even meetings that you have not accepted or given a response to will show up tentatively on your calendar. And there's a very easy way to see that. For example, this meeting here is one that I have accepted and it sits in my channel. We can see it's got a solid purple line on the left-hand side. Whereas this meeting over here, I can see that it's actually a striped bar on the left-hand side. And that means I haven't RSVP'd, but it's at least saved it in my calendar. So I know that something's there. But if I had to click on it once, I can actually RSVP from here. I can say accept, tentative decline. Now, if I hit accept, you'll see that that bar on the left-hand side will change. And all of a sudden, it has gone a solid color. And that means that I've accepted it and it's really permanently placed it into my calendar. You will also get notifications for meetings coming up. So please do keep eyes out on that. Now, if we carry down our left-hand menu, we've got 3 more sections. And these are some of your less frequented spaces. So we've got calls. Now your calls allow you to see any calls that you've had on a one-to-one basis with someone. So I can see that earlier today I spoke to Richard. Yesterday I had a call with Bianca and Richard, and I can see how long they've lasted and when they were. You will also get notifications if someone tried to call you and it's missed. It will come up onto your history and you can see that it will be a missed option. Now, it's also very nice from calls. You can actually come and if it's someone that you frequently contact, you can just hit the call option and it will start a meeting already. Then we've got our files section. So your file section just allows you to see all of the documentation that's available to you within all of your teams and your private chats. Then the last thing that I would like to show you is in terms of the menu is your last ellipsis, and this allows you to add in new applications. So for example, if you want to use Planner, which allows you to create tasks for yourself, you can add that as an application in. So do come and have a look in here. There's a number of really great tools that can help you from a productivity perspective. And all you do is select your application and it adds it to your left-hand tab that you can come and actually start engaging in. Now, just want to jump out of here. I just want to draw everyone's attention to the top right-hand side. So here we've got 3 ellipses for us. If I select this, again, I can change my settings. So how I want it to look, color, how do I want my teams to be laid out, all of that sits within your settings. Now, if you have logged in on your device online and you've skipped the first option that allowed you to download the app, you don't have to worry. You can always come back to your ellipsis and hit the download desktop app. You can also download the mobile app. And if you do that, it actually gives you a link that you can share with yourself to download it on your mobile. So all I'd have to do is select download the desktop application, and you can see that it starts the download for the Teams installation file. And all I'll do is once it's downloaded, it's simply double clicking on it, letting it run, and it will install itself, and you log in and you get to use the entire application. The last thing that I want to go over in today's session is just what you can do in a Teams call, because that really is also a powerful feature that there is. So I'm just going to drag this open. And we can see that this that is now on our current screen is the meeting that we are currently in. So in here, I can see all of my participants as well. If someone else was sharing their screen, it would come up here and I would be able to see it. Now, really where you start interacting with Teams calls is all of these options at the top right-hand side. The first one we have is people. So if I had to select it, I can come in, I can see everybody that is currently in the meeting. I can see everybody that was invited to the meeting. I can also see who has specific permissions. Now that is important. Presenters are allowed to share their screen. They're allowed to mute other participants as well as kick other participants out of meetings. They can also change certain settings for the meeting itself. Now, your attendees can mute themselves. They can turn on their cameras depending on the permissions that your presenters have done. And you can see that Vivian has turned her camera on, so we can actually see that up on the screen. Now, if we wanted to invite someone in, so let's say we've set up a meeting and we would have forgotten someone, I can actually search for them. So we can actually, let's say Bianca, for example, I can see there is Bianca. And if I hover over her, I've got a request to join option. And all that does is it sends her a Teams call asking her to join the Teams meeting. And once she accepts it, she's allowed in. So I'm just going to close our participant section. The next option within your Teams meeting is your chat feature. So I'm going to select chat. And here I can see all the communication that's happened within my team itself. I can again like and give reactions. I can also hover over a message and you'll see your 3 ellipsis options. I can reply to a message. So if I reply to a message, let's just say I do that, we can see that it's actually taken our message and placed it in our chat. So this, we are just going to say reply. I will actually reply to this message. This isn't it. So I'm just going to say send. Now what that does is if I have gotten lost throughout my messages, I can click on the message that's been attached on the inside and it will take me to it and highlight it for me. You see, as I click on it, it highlights it so that I know what message this one is responding to. And the same thing, I can see Richard has done a reply. So if I select it, you see it's taken me right to the top of our chat so that I can see who he's responding to. Again, at the bottom, you've got your options, very same options as what you had in your Teams and your normal private chats. I can send a quick message. I can format and use all my normal typesetting options for me. So you can expand your options with a little ellipsis. Here, we can do bullet points, insert links, a whole host of options that we can do from here. Again, I have an option here. We'll see its little question mark. If I select it, it makes it important and it actually marks it as red for everyone to see. And then again, I've got my emojis, GIFs, and stickers available. And then I can just hit send. And we're just going to discard that. Now, the next option that we have at the top is our reactions option. So I'm going to click on it. And now what this does is I can put my hand up. So if I put my hand up, we'll see that on my account, I've got a little hand raised, and under my participants, it's actually notified me that someone has their hand up. And this allows for us to actually take turns during a virtual communication platform, and it helps give some structure to it. And we can also see that my hand raised has a number to it, so that if Vivian, would you kindly raise your hand as well, please? You'll see that the moment Vivian raises her hand, her hand icon will have a little 2 next to it so that we know that Vivian has raised her hand after I have. We can see there's a 2 and her icon has now gone up. So I know that I need to address whatever question or comment Vivian has. So I'm going to put my hand down. The next options we have is we can do a like. So if I do a like, it will pop up on everyone's screen and on my profile that I have liked it. You can do the same thing with loves, sending out some hearts. You can send out applauses as well. And this is a good way just to increase your engagement that's in there. So for example, when Vivian said, please give a thumbs up if you have done it, you could have done it through your likes reaction. So just as a test for everyone, can we get a couple of thumbs up to see that everyone can access their reactions on their Teams call? There we go. Got a couple flying around. Brilliant. The next section that we have is again apps, so you can always bring in other applications into
Zuana, see
Teams.
Flora had her hand up.
Yes, I was going to answer now, but I see it's been taken down. Flora, did you have a question, or was that just an accidental hand raise?
Yes, it was an accident. No.
Testing it out. She was testing it out. It
Fantastic.
wasn't accidental.
Yes.
Then we've got our add an app option. It's the same as what you would have anywhere else. So if I wanted to bring in, for example, I'm just going to hit add an app, just let it load. If I wanted to bring a Microsoft form in here that I have created, I can come and search for forms. There I can see my form and I can select a form for me. So if I select it, I can say add, and it becomes an extra application and option here at the top. So you can really make your Teams calls and sessions really interactive and productive. And again, this is important not only for the program, but also for how you will function going forward within your UNISA career and ultimately your future place of work, where you can collaborate with people and in one space bring in a number of different applications and work and collaborate together. Next to our apps option, we've got our normal ellipsis, our more. So if I select there, I can choose my device settings. Now this is important. If your mic's not working or your camera's not working, always suggest selecting your device settings and making sure that your audio and speaker devices are all selected properly. That's in here. You can see that it is detecting my mic because this little bar changes the whole time. So it gives you a good idea if your mic is being heard. I can also choose my camera options, which camera on my device I want, if I want the front camera or the rear camera. So you can come and really play around with this so that your device is set up for you. Now, if we go quickly back to the more options, we can see that we've got call health, meeting information, apply background effects. So if I wanted to turn my camera on and share my view, I can actually apply a custom camera icon. Then we can see Vivian's done that. She's currently in a Minecraft world. So if I had to select apply background options, I would be able to go and select any one of these and apply and turn on video, and it will change my background for me. So it really also allows you to customize how you feel when you're joining these sessions as well. Now, the last couple of areas on the top right hand side is our camera option. So mine is kept off. You can see there, if I hover over it, it does show me for a split second. Mine is off just because I'm sharing my screen and I don't want to increase anyone's bandwidth. But if I wanted to turn it on, I could simply just hit my camera option and it will turn it on. The next option I have is to mute myself. It's your normal mic option. So if I click it, no one would be able to hear me. And if I unclick it with no line through it, I know that it's working. Now, the sharing option, unfortunately, I can't demo this because I need to share in order to show you it. If I had to stop sharing, it would be an up arrow icon that says share. And if I had to click on it, I would have a couple of options. I can share either just an application. So if I only want to show just my team screen, I don't want to be able to show anything else on my computer, I can select just the application. Or alternatively, you've got an option to select your screen itself. And you can do the same thing across your mobile devices. If you want to show someone how something works on a mobile device, you can share it from that perspective as well. And then the last option is our giant leave button. If you are a Teams owner, you can also hit the drop down and you can end the meeting for everyone, which means that everyone will be closed off. So that does bring us to the end of our Teams training and workshop. I know that it was quite a bit of information, but we really touched the basic features of Teams. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to raise your hand, unmute yourself and ask away now. Or
Zuan, can I
always
just
use the
ask you to
support
go?
channels.
Sorry, can I just ask you to go into a Teams screen quickly? Just go back to where the teams and the channels and everything are.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody, if you can just look at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's a little help function there.
Yes. Oh, okay. I did forget this.
The
This is very
golden
important.
button.
It's the
golden
golden
button.
button. That's in here. So your help button, it's available again on all of your devices, whether you're on a browser or the application. You'll have your help button for you, and you can always click on it and go and select topics, training, what's new. So if I select training, it'll actually open up a section for me that provides training on how to get through to certain things. So if I search, I can search channels. We can hit search, and we can see that it gives me a number of different options in here. So I can say show more to really see what's going on. So here I can see getting started with reflecting teams if I wanted to have a look at that, or meeting chats and posts in class teams. So if I select it, it opens it up for me and it gives me a full run through on how certain features work, what certain areas are. So if you are hesitant on something and you first want to check the help option before using your support channel, please do. It covers every aspect of Teams and specifically what's coming new. And you can jump to a student's view, which is what yours would be, and you can see how you can create new messages, connect with videos as well. That's in here. So do use the magic golden button here at the bottom left-hand side. I do want to just open up for 5 minutes. If there are any questions from anyone, please feel free to ask away. If you don't have anything for now, you are also, again, more than welcome to bug us and send through as many questions as you have on your personal chats or through the support channel. So if there are any questions, please do ask away.
So in the chat, I know there was Sia that is having a bit of trouble downloading his Teams, but he's running Windows 8.1. But Richard will check with him to be able to get the latest version of Windows 11, which is part of the student use benefit license, and then obviously also to make sure that his Teams is able to download on his Windows device.
Okay, fantastic. Flora, I know that you struggled with the download option. Please do try and use the download the Teams app through the browser. See if that doesn't help you. If that doesn't solve the problem, please do send us a message so that we can set up a meeting and go through your Teams to help get it installed on your device. Are there any other questions, challenges, anything that anyone is facing regarding Teams? Are we a bit more comfortable with it, with Teams itself? There we've got a thumbs up from Samuel. Any other? Can we get a thumbs up for comfort on usage of Teams? Everybody comfortable with the way that we're running? Yes, Prince.
Prince, you must just unmute.
So that would just be your mic icon. Yeah, there we go.
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, fantastic. Just testing out the hand icon. Brilliant. Anything else from anyone? Otherwise, I do think that brings us to the end of today's session. Richard, do you have anything that you want to cover?
No, thank you everybody for attending. And if you have not done so, please complete the participant skills assessment by Monday. We have sent through the links to as the SMS as well. But that's all from me. Thank you everyone, and have a good evening. Over to you, Zuan.
Thank you very much, everyone. Just for ease of reference, in the chat is the link to the skills assessment form that you can just click on and go and conduct that skills assessment. Vivian, anything from your side before we close off?
All good, all good. Thank you so much for everybody participating so late on a Friday afternoon. We do appreciate your time, but I promise you it's all going to be worth it when we start getting to the really, really fun stuff in the next couple of weeks. Take care, everyone. Have a fabulous weekend.
Fantastic. Thank you guys very much for joining. Do hope you have a